the halftime show is been a huge thing in your stand-up recently. I'm curious what you thought of the whole show.
I thought it was great. I thought it was one of those things where it's very difficult to have because of how hip hop and rap are to perform and how close to spoken word it is with the music and everything. And most artists don't necessarily create spectacle at their shows because you're there for them and what they have to say specifically. I thought it was great, and I thought that there was plenty of not just like symbolism to potentially like the beef or whatever, but also for the greater narrative of the American game that we see from the beginning to end, and how the game is this sort of triple entendre thing that's happening the
Yeah.
entire time. So I thought that was really really fun. I really enjoyed it when I was watching it, and like I said in my set, I watched it on Tubi, and Tubi knocked it out of the park. That was a great mix. That was,
Their
man,
moment to
Tubi came
shine.
through.
Tubi had a
Yeah.
better mix than
What was the triple entendre that you saw in the game of it all, right?
Oh yeah, so I'm not going to pretend that I caught everything. And there's also, I will say, because it's Kendrick and because people go fishing for the Easter eggs, there were people
Mhm.
who were like completely off on lots of things. Like they'd be like, "Oh, Samuel L. Jackson, Samuel L. Jackson. Drake took a L. That's Samuel L. Jackson. Drake compares himself to Michael Jackson. That's Samuel L. Jackson." Like I think that there's a lot of that going on. But the
Yeah.
triple entendre I'm talking about is the great American game, which Samuel Jackson calls it up top, which is both for football, for the sort of metaphorical game that they're about to play, and for the game board. One second, sorry. Those are the office announcements. My bad. So there's the game that is also being played on the game board that is the theme of the show, right? And
Mhm.
so I thought it was really cool the way that they even began it with "Start Here," and that's where Kendrick is rapping from his GNX snippet. And then some people didn't catch this, but right as Euphoria plays, it says "Warning, wrong way."
Yeah, yeah,
Which I
yeah.
think is both a little bit of an allusion to the beef, but since Euphoria was almost like this friendly fade warning shot, and then at the end it says game over for the game that they've been playing throughout, which is the game pieces and the show, game over for where we land from the sort of Uncle Sam until now, and then game over for the beef. So I thought that
Yeah.
those things were fun little nods throughout.
I look at it like it's 30% about the beef, but mostly he's talking about America, and he's gonna make his
Yeah.
little Drake allusions, but more like, I'm at the Super Bowl, biggest American platform, like Beyonce. I'm gonna make a critical statement toward America, that is really pro-black and is challenging to America, but is also black centric, right? So, when I'm like the game, you're really talking about capitalism that traps all of us,
Exactly. Yeah.
these sort of things, right? The relationship to white supremacy that is the conversation with Uncle Sam, Uncle Tom, like that, right? Like I think most of it was about his relationship to
It's all
America.
meta commentary. I feel like even giving it just three, being like it's a triple entendre, it's just meta commentary where it's the game, like you said, with capitalism, the game that he has to play. Also, we got to remember that Kendrick's always talking about himself. People like to forget about that. It's like Sam's telling him that you need to play the game right. You need to do this exactly how everybody else does a halftime show. You need to play the songs that people like, sing and dance, shuck and jive, right? So that part of it, then the American capitalism part, as well as the football part, as well as the game that he's playing with Drake. And Drake is just like a placeholder and enemy for like what you were talking about with black people versus the outsiders or feeling like an outsider. And then this is the enemy just making us this way, even though we built this country. So it's beautiful. And I want to go to something to you, Josh, where I saw this clip, friend sent me this clip of you talking about what was your? It was a quotable, so I got to say it right. You said that entertainment will not be your salvation. That's a bar, Josh. That is a freaking. You said
Oh, thanks,
entertainment.
man.
That is a bar. I was like, this man hit it. So entertainment will not be your salvation, and a lot of people felt like there was people who were like, this is a revolutionary statement, but it's not enough. Or what exactly did he say? Why don't you just overtly say it? Trump's right there. Why don't you do that? And
Yeah,
you
like
are like, what are you serious? Like, is that what he needs to do in
yeah,
this moment?
yeah. Because also, even if he tried to do that, let's say that Kendrick sees himself as this full-on savior who is going to save America with the Super Bowl halftime show, even though we just had an election. Okay,
Right?
let's say he sees himself that way. Even if he tried to do that, Trump left.
Bounce.
Like he like the dude left because the Chiefs were losing very badly.
Very.
And he had already picked him to win on the plane, and now he doesn't want to be associated with a loser, and so he skedaddled. And so
Exactly.
it's like, even if he had had this whole thing planned for Trump, where it's like, yeah, and I'm gonna show him, I'm gonna make him watch. We're gonna have the revolutionary television show with the halftime show. This man not gonna be ready. He's not gonna know what to do with himself. Oh, he left. Okay, I guess I'll keep doing it. Maybe he'll watch eventually.
That's the thing. People like really. It's like what I just, that whole entertainment thing. And I'm gonna go ask you this: is like you're an artist, you're up there, and you do have a lot of political points in commentary, right? Do you feel like it's artists' place or these rappers? Let's go specifically to rappers. Rappers' place to speak about this. Do you want that just as an audience member, a listener? Do you want rappers to start talking about this shit that we are in right now?
I I think it's anyone's place to talk about what they know about. I don't look at somebody as like they shouldn't talk about this thing because they play basketball or because of whatever. I look at it as like, look, these people, anyone who's like living in the U.S. and or is affected by U.S. policy that is versed enough in it to speak up and feels like they have something to say. Who am I to tell them like, actually, no, you have nothing to say, or this isn't your place to talk or anything? Like, I'm open to um, maybe it's just a thing with me, so I'm not telling other people what to do, but I'm open to everyone's opinion on everything, even when I think that they may not have the the breadth of knowledge to give great insight. You could be
Hmm.
wrong. Now I'm over here learning something from someone who I thought knew nothing about. Uh, I thought they knew nothing about whatever the topic is, but because I let them speak and because I empowered them to like voice their concerns about something or give me their insight, now I might potentially be learning from them, and I thought they had nothing to say. And I think that that's the situation where a lot of people find their hip hop artists in, where you think this guy is just good with words and he raps, or it's like poetry to a good beat or something like that, but then you find that whoever it is, and even if we left Kendrick out of it for a second and we were talking about like a Vince Staples or a Vic Mensa
Hmm.
or anybody in that realm, if they have something to say about something that they're knowledgeable about, then I think that that's the respectful thing to hear people out.